How you prepare for a golf tournament?
Well, I hit balls maybe 20 minutes, putt a little bit, smoke 4 or 5 cigarettes, drink 3 Diet Cokes, and go to the first tee. Some days I won't even go to the range.
How are you, sir? It's a Wednesday edition of the Daily Puck Drop with the great Jim Moore. How are you?
I'm doing great. What's going on with
your
Jordan
Coug gear
Reffett?
on? You ready to go?
Yeah, Jordan. We love Jordan Reffett. You love Jordan Reffett. We all love him, right?
I do enjoy a Jordan Reffett. I'm just exchanging text messages with Jordan as we record this here on a Wednesday here on the Daily Puck Drop. As you know, Jordan and will be a part of the Husky Roundtable that we're doing this year. How excited are you to listen to that one, huh?
God, I can't
Along
wait.
with Elise Woodward.
I can't wait. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I love Jordan and I love Elise and I love you.
Yeah.
But I don't love the Huskies. So
you're never going to listen to it, are you?
Probably not.
Well,
no.
Come on, but it's got a great name, Puck the Huskies podcast.
I'm busy with. Well, I'm sorry, I can't go out on the Husky honks, with Softy and who are those other guys? Greg Lewis and who's the other guy? Mario
Bailey. This will be highly more entertaining than that. I'm going to tell you that right now, except for Softy. I mean, he's entertaining, but
yeah, but the other two guys. I mean,
who has the better analyst?
Honestly, like Dick Baird, I always give him a hard time for being a Coug that came over to the wrong side. But he was the best part of that Husky honk show, and I miss him. I do. I like doing Dick Baird impressions, and Softy used to give me a hard time about how bad they were. The coaches are trying hard, and the players are trying hard.
He was always
trying hard.
He was pro-coach. He was always pro-coach, all right?
Oh, my God.
That's the way he was. Well, here we go. It's another – I mean, are you tired of doing these yet, or are you still game for them?
What do you think?
I think you're tired of doing them.
Why? Does that come across like that?
I think it does. I've received many, many emails and text messages.
No, you haven't.
I just don't think Jim likes to do these. And frankly, I don't think he likes you. I can sense it.
I enjoy the heck out of it. I'm here for you. Here's my thing. I want to be here as long as you want me to be here.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. I want to help you out.
It might just be a few more days. I don't know. It just depends on your behavior. So here we go. A Wednesday edition of the Daily Puck Drop. We're from the Limbach Lumber Studios. Of course, they've been serving the Pacific Northwest, the Seattle area since 1930. Summer is here. That means it's deck and fence season. So if you've got a project and you're a do-it-yourself or a small contractor, contact the folks there at Limbach Lumber, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbachlumber.com. The Puck Sports Studios built by Limbach Lumber. We do the Daily Puck Drop every single day. We release new episodes at 10 a.m. Jim is flipping around his camera to, what are we looking at? The dogs? Okay. Jim has flipped his camera around. Listener, you can go back on the YouTube video and watch it later. That was Sky having sex with his sister or brother, River.
One of them will mount the other one, and then the other one will mount.
Why can't Are they both boys?
No, one's a girl. They're both fixed.
River's the girl?
No, River's the boy, and Sky's the girl. Yeah.
Well, that's odd that Sky would be the one that would be the dominating one.
Sky likes being on top.
Well, apparently so, and everything flies in bed. Boy, I can't wait till the neighbor sees that. Can you get the dogs to go to the neighbor's yard and have sex on the yard just to really push that whole drama over the edge?
After they
It'd be great.
And then take a post-sex dump.
A post-sex dump, and then just kind of lay around over there. And I want you to film the whole thing. It'd be great.
I'm so happy today because the neighbor's gone.
Good.
I don't have to worry about it today.
Well, go back on. So, listener, as you're on the Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to this fine, award-winning Daily Puck Drop podcast, go back and watch the video there on YouTube. All right, well, quickly, we got the M's to talk about. We got a great pitching matchup. The under is going to hit tonight. We got a new offensive lineman for the Seahawks, and of course, we wrap up every Daily Puck Drop with Hey, What the Puck. We're going to discuss Dan Lanning and Hey, What the Puck. And then something disgusting the Arizona Cardinals are doing. But I really can't wait to get to the Dan Lanning story because he's just a putz. Mariners game last night. Oh, before we get to the Mariners game, Do we have an update on the neighbor yet? Neighbor gate, for those who
No,
don't know, the neighbor
I
hates Jim and doesn't like that the dogs are there.
Yeah,
ratted him out to the landowners.
I've been giving it some thought, though, because if I'm a listener, I'm thinking, God, what a crummy neighbor Jim is, and what a bad dog owner. He needs to have his dogs under control. And I think that everyone who thinks that is right. And so I really am. I'm going to do better. I'm going to try and be better.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't be doing. You know what it is? It's me being bitter about the house that we're in, and I'm angry at is the house. I'm
not the neighbor.
Right. And the
Okay.
neighbor has every right to feel the way that he does. Like, I don't know if I would, his dog, Huckleberry, I don't know how I'd feel if Huckleberry was over here all the time. So I need to do better. I don't know.
This is very big of you. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a growing moment for you. It's a big step. I'm happy.
It sucks. I mean, when you let your dogs out, you can just let your dogs out like a normal person. You don't have to go downstairs to let your dogs out, do you? Or do you? Like, don't you have a deck?
Do I have to go downstairs?
Like when you let your dogs out to do their business in the morning, I have to go downstairs to a yard that does not have grass. I feel like this house is perfectly fine for us, but for the dog, it's not dog friendly, and so. I guess what I'm getting at is that I'm angry at the house that we got, and that
you hate
I'm
the
taking
house.
it out. I don't hate it, but I don't like it, and I don't like that we have an 18-month lease. Jesus Christ,
That's a little long.
Yeah, I don't want to be here 18 months. That's all. So
you don't want to be in the house, but you want to be in Bend.
Like a therapist would tell you. I'm trying to think what a therapist would say about this, and a therapist would say that Jim is upset at the house and he's taking it out on other people, which I need to stop doing. So
Okay.
I'm going to stop.
So we've ended the feud with the neighbors across the street.
Yeah, we have.
Good for you. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Is this better than talking about the Mariners game last night?
I mean, we can.
Okay.
I find it wildly entertaining, your neighbor drama.
No, most listeners, so honestly, like if I'm, some guy, wherever, in Bothell, Tukwila, wherever, I'm thinking, why am I listening to, why would I care about Jim's issues?
I think there's a lot of people that do.
I'm retired. Everybody aspires to being retired at some point. I do fun things like zip line yesterday, play golf. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym today, and I don't really have many plans today. And here I am complaining about, some beautiful. I mean, this is a beautiful house I'm in, and yet, what do I have to complain about? And I don't want to hear that bullshit if I'm Joe in Bothell.
Well, you keep talking about it, so apparently you want people to hear it.
Fuck you, Puck. I mean, come on, man.
Or you wouldn't keep talking about it.
I mean, I just lost the argument by saying that. Screw
How
you,
was
man.
on a scale of 1 to 10? How'd you like the zip lining?
Here comes more complaining.
Oh, you didn't like the zip lining.
No, I love the zip lining, but it was only 3 zip lines. You got 3 rides up there at Mount Bachelor. The views were fantastic.
Okay.
The guys, the kids that were doing it with us, that worked there, and the older guy, Larry, he was cool. Everything was cool about it, except it was $99 each.
$100 for just 3 rides. And how long does the ride last?
Well, one of them was pretty long, but I'd say a total amount of time you're zip lining, I'd say is probably 2 minutes.
For $100.
Yeah. We all agreed that it was fun, and we're glad we did it. It was a family
Too much.
together.
That's way too much.
And I was looking for something we could do as a family that we'd all enjoy each other. But when we golf together, we don't necessarily enjoy each other because the kids get frustrated with Kathy. So,
explain why.
She's a slow player and only hits it about 20 yards, and then it's you can't. It's hard to get into a rhythm.
Does she like playing golf?
She loves it, and she wants in the worst way to play well in front of her kids. And I think she gets more nervous trying to do well in front of them, and then it just exacerbates the problem. And
Well, you tell the twins to take it easy on Mom, all right? Without Mom, they're not here, okay?
That's true. I will tell them that.
Yeah, thank you. You can get that message to them right now. All right,
Yeah.
for God's sake.
Okay.
How did they react to the Mariners game yesterday? And once again, no offense.
Not well. Not well.
Hey,
Mikey gets really disturbed when they play poorly.
well, I can tell, and I love following Mike. You know what? I can pull up his Twitter here in a second because I do enjoy going through Mikey Moore's Twitter account.
Yeah.
To watch-
Well, he
to
just,
watch
I mean,
how
you know,
upset he gets at games.
probably like any Mariner fan, some days he's like, God, Dad, I think we can make it to the World Series this year. And then the next day, God, we suck. It just goes back and forth like that.
He hasn't tweeted in a while, but one of his last tweets was Mariners team is actually poverty. Team needs to sell at the deadline. They are ridiculously bad. And Trent Thornton Stanek continue being high leverage. I wish I didn't love this team. God, that sounds like his dad. My God.
I'm not a Trent Thornton fan either.
Is anybody a Trent Thornton fan?
Out of here, man.
Get out. God, he needs to get out.
He's not even that bad. I just don't like him.
Oh,
he's
yes,
probably a great human being. But when he's on the mound, I'm going, okay, the glasses, the whole thing. Okay,
he's not a leverage guy. He's a guy that you bring. He's not a leverage guy. He's a guy you bring in a slot, to fix, to clean up the slop. That's what he is.
And both, local kid. You know how I like local kids.
You love local.
I've seen enough of both, though, haven't you?
But he's another slop. You pick up and clean up the slop, and that's fine. You need those guys in your bullpen, but you cannot trust Trent Thornton in these situations they put him in to get big outs. He's not built for it. His second half of the season, he's been terrible. The last month of the season, this is what his slash line is: 375, 419, and 725. They got to stop pitching him. I mean, God, it's hard to watch.
What? Do they not see the same stats you do or watch the games like you do?
Well, obviously not with the keen eye that you and I have. Hey, ask Mike. I want to know what Mikey thought, all right? So that because it's a huge, everyone's up in arms about what they did late in the game by pitch hitting for Luke Raley. Did Mikey Moore sound off on the decision to pinch hit Luke Raley late for Mitch Garver?
No, but I think we all sat there just kind of confused as to why Garver. Well, I guess we weren't confused because.
Well, the stats would back it up.
It was a right-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher, and so.
Well, do you understand? Do you understand why? Like, there's a lefty up there, and he clearly has better numbers against a lefty than Luke Raley. I mean, from a stats on the paper, looking at the matchups, did it make sense to you?
Not really.
Okay.
Give me Luke Raley in that situation. Even though, I looked at the numbers today. Luke Raley 9 for 51 against lefties this year, 177 average, but Garver hitting 167 overall. And I'm sure that I didn't look at his numbers against lefties. It's probably 2-something.
He's OPS against left-handers is 791. Luke Raley's OPS is 497.
Okay. But Garver 0 for his last 17. So that part of me was thinking, God, you can't bring Garver up in this situation because he's been so cold. Except I really was thinking, okay, this is your moment, man.
Sure.
This is your time. You're going to get a chance to wash away everything if you can deliver here. If he had hit a 2-run, well, how many guys were on there? There was one guy on, right? So he would have tied the game with a homer.
He would have tied the game because remember the Polanco hit would have been the last out.
If he had hit a homer there, I mean, that would have just been one of the coolest moments of the year. And yet he looked pathetic.
Well, the swing, and I think the most concerning thing is, God, I wish we had the video we could play, is the last swing.
Yeah.
That was, I'm telling you, I think these guys want to win. I think they want to try hard. I think they want to try harder than fans and all of that. That looked like, he just kind of like, it didn't look like there was much of an effort on the swing. Look like he gave up.
It was almost like he felt like, I'm probably going to strike out anyway, and I'd rather strike out swinging instead of looking.
But it wasn't even a swing.
And with that umpire last night, that might have been called a strike. I mean, that umpire was – I don't usually bitch about umpires, but, when they show that little EQC box, and when the ball's like 2 balls out and they're calling strikes. I mean, Castillo had some breaks from that umpire last night.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
but pitch well enough again to get the win. I mean, my guy, just nothing was hit hard off Castillo, but yeah, I
do you have mixed feelings about Castillo at all? I mean, or maybe it's kind of like I feel like I did with Robbie Ray sometimes. Like, I still think that Robbie Ray was a good pitcher for the Mariners, like bordering on really good, but he'd always have an inning where he wasn't. And with Castillo, like the kids last night were going, "Oh God, Castillo, it's too bad because he was really good tonight." And I go, "You sure he was really good?" He was good, and it sounds stupid because, well, I say a lot of stupid shit, so I don't even know why I'm qualifying
you do.
that.
You do. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, continue.
But 9 strikeouts and no walks. Quality start, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, seeing eye singles. A lot of balls that got through the infield. He wasn't hit hard. So that's really a good outing. But, with Castillo, maybe my expectation level is too high with him because I just look at him and I'm going, God, he looks unhittable. He just looks unhittable to me every time he's out there. Yeah. And yet he goes, 3-ball counts a lot. There's always traffic on the bases. And so, yeah,
he throws a lot of pitches because he's trying to strike everyone out.
Yeah. I like him. Don't get me wrong, or you can get me wrong if you want.
Well, it sounds like you hate him, and we'll start it here on the Wednesday edition of the Daily Puck Drop. How much you hate him?
I don't even know what you said because I wasn't listening.
Yeah, but
he's their third best starter. Can we agree that he's their third best starter?
Well, yeah, I don't. That's not a hot take. Right. Are you trying to come like Jim Horse said something that no one else has said before?
No, but do we want him starting game 1 of the playoffs?
No,
of course not. But he's going to, Puck.
No, he's not. Why would
Yes, he is.
Why? He is not going to start game 1 of the playoffs if they line it up the way they want to line up. You're crazy. Come on. There's no way.
What do you mean I'm crazy?
If they can line it up.
Who started season opener? Who started game 1?
I'll be honest, I can't remember. Did he? I don't know.
Come on, you're a sports talk show.
I don't know. It was like 100 games ago. I don't know.
Sports talk podcast guy.
I don't know. Did he start opening day?
Castillo starts game 1 of every season since he's been here.
How much do you want to bet that he doesn't? If they line it now, because then this bet's going to be void because if it lines up where he can't, Gilbert can't start because of where he's at in the rotation, then bet's void. But if they can line it up, Logan Gilbert starts game 1 of the playoffs. Zero doubt.
You're so wrong about that. You're wrong. You're flat out wrong. $50.
50?
$100? I'll go 100. It's Castillo.
$100.
And you're okay. You got to take Gilbert, and then if it's Kirby, it's no bet.
So the bet is $100. I'm saying if it.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying about.
You know what I'm saying.
Like if they already wrap up the AL West and they can put everything in order. I got it.
If they put everything in order and everything lines up perfect and they can set their rotation for the playoffs.
4 days rest.
Yeah, all of it. Logan Gilbert starts game 1 of the playoffs. You say Luis Castillo. This will be the easiest $100 that I've ever collected in my life.
Okay, if it's Kirby, it's no bet.
No, I get Kirby too. No.
No, you know.
I agree. Okay, Kirby, no bet.
Okay.
No bet.
And okay, I'm going to win this one. You know why?
No, you're not.
Because you know how you won that bet on Geno? Because you were thinking how Pete Carroll was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking how Scott Service is thinking.
Yeah, and he thinks Logan Gilbert.
No, he doesn't. Castillo's been his number 1 guy since he got here. Why would he change now?
Who's the all-star
and who knows? You know what you don't know? And I don't know either, so it's not like I know what I'm talking about.
Well, you clearly.
But it might adversely affect Castillo if they took the starting. It's just like, remember the year with Felix? Didn't they start some other guy they brought in?
Eric Bedard.
Bedard, yeah.
Bedard.
Some other guy. 5 questions. That's one.
That's the best. That was the Jen Mueller. I remember that.
I like that about Eric Bedard when he did that. But no, I mean, Felix was probably like, "What the hell, man? What you're starting?"
You're really
him?
confident about this. You're confident that you're going to win this.
I would think that your listeners and watchers probably agree with me on this one because Luis Castillo is the number 1 guy in the eyes of Scott Service.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah. Okay.
We shall see.
$100.
Hey, how about the? Because I know you love this stuff, and so do I. How about the scoring decision on the Luke Raley, the ball under his glove? Did you see they changed it?
I read about that. I didn't know that until this morning. I heard that it was originally ruled an error, and then
They changed
would
it
they get
later.
a call from the clubhouse or something?
Well, probably. Who do we know who was scoring the game? Was it our guy Radovich?
I don't know, but probably. I used to like giving Eric a hard time.
We got to find out.
Well, what do you think that should have been? You think
I'll
error.
Bet you,
okay, here's what I think.
It's an error. It's under his glove. It's an error. That's a routine ball that he should have made. They should have been out of the inning of double play.
Okay, but if it doesn't touch his glove, which it didn't.
I agree. I understand that.
Okay.
I gave the vampire an error in a game when it went under his glove and he didn't touch it, and I gave him an error. It's an error.
What did he say later?
Oh, I don't. He was not happy. But, he understood. He's like, I should have got that. Yeah, just like Luke Raley should have got that ball. That's not a hit. Come on. A first baseman makes that play.
Here's what I would do if I'm an official scorer. I'm thinking to myself, if I talked to Luke Raley after the game and said, hey, do you think that should have been a hit or an error? I'll bet Raley would have said that was an error. I should have had that.
Come on. What are we doing?
But then how does Castillo feel about it being changed to a hit? Because then it goes from, didn't they score in that inning? They scored in that inning.
Yeah.
So how many of those runs would have been earned or unearned as a result?
Sure. I mean, it's simple. You called it an error, and then they got it changed because someone was upset about it. Should have been an error. Should have stayed an error.
Yeah. Well, but that fly ball that Polanco hit in the ninth inning.
See, that's a dicey one with me.
You can't give anybody an error there.
I know that.
You can't really give Polanco a hit, and yet you have to.
Remember we talked about, did we talk about this earlier in the season? A similar play happened. I think it was a Little League game that I think I asked you about. Or was it? No, I don't think you were on the show. I don't think you were doing the show yet. And we had a same play in Little League. I was like, should that be a hit or an error? I always think it should be an error. I mean, the ball falls right in front of you. I mean, there's no effort to get the ball.
The Tigers center fielder should have been an E8. I mean, it should have been. And I'll bet you if you said to him after the game, hey, I got to give an error to somebody on that play, I bet you he would have taken it because the center fielder needs to take that ball.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
I agree. All right, so let's move on. So we got $100 bet. You say Castillo starts game one of the playoffs if they get there. I say Logan Gilbert. Not pitching in the playoffs will be Tarek Skubal. You know much about Tarek Skubal, who's pitching tonight against George Kirby, other than that he went to Seattle University.
Yeah, I read about him today in the Seattle Times.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I read about he's doing a post-game meal with his favorite restaurant tonight.
I did see that. I've never been there. Yeah. Tacos, Chukas or something. I don't know. Yeah. I think I butchered that.
Yeah. No, what a fantastic story coming out of Seattle U.
Great
Kingman,
story.
Arizona.
No scholarship offers. This was the only one. He misses the 17 season. He's got Tommy John surgery. He comes back in 18. He doesn't really light it up in that final season for Seattle U. He got like a 4.16 ERA. He gets drafted in 2000.
Ninth round.
Yeah, 9th round, 2018 draft, 9th round. And then he blows up in the minors. And he's great. His career ERA in the minors is like 2.03. It's just a great, I think what it is a great story and testament to someone who, we get caught up in all sports, right? First round draft picks and, they got a hit. And the great stories like these guys, right? The 5th round picks in the NFL draft. Guys like this in the 9th round of the MLB draft. Albert Pujols. I can't even remember where Albert Pujols was drafted, but it was in the double digits back then, I think, when they still had it. I love that stuff. And I love stories like this, and it's cool to see. And he's the most dominating pitcher in the American League right now. And he's went to college here. He's got a bunch of family, or he's going to have a bunch of teammates and coaches there tonight. And just a terrific pitching matchup. I mean, these are two of the very best pitchers in the American League with Skubal and George Kirby.
I'm looking forward to it. Sorry about that. The garbage truck has arrived. The garbage truck man is honking.
Are they honking because the dogs are in the way?
I don't know.
Well, I hear the dogs barking.
Can you dump what I said? Can you dump what I said earlier?
I'm telling you. Do you want to go check? Do you want to go check to see what's happening here? because
Yeah.
the dogs are probably in the middle of the road. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can leave it
Here.
there. It's fine. Just leave it there.
I'll take you
Oh,
with
my
me.
God, this
guy.
is
Here, I'll
hilarious.
take you with me.
Jim
the
is
guy's honking at me.
he's
Here,
honking at
Sky,
you.
River.
Yeah, because the
Come here.
dogs are in the middle of the
Sorry.
road. Yes.
Sorry, I'm
Sorry.
waving.
Yeah.
Here,
yeah,
come on.
Of course you are.
Come on.
Man.
Come on. Okay. All right. God, we were really talking about something interesting there, too,
One
about
of the
that.
worst. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, side note. One of the worst dog owners in America right there.
Yeah, I know. That guy waved to me, though, so he's not too upset. No, but I was thinking about, okay, if you strike out 14 times against the Tigers, God, that garbage truck is loud. Hey, can you keep it down over there?
There you go. Try to tape a podcast, man. Sorry, Mr. Blue Collar Worker, doing a tough job of collecting my garbage, but I'm trying to do something over here.
More than I am right now.
They make good living. They make a great living. What did you say when they struck out 14 times? That Montero guy pitcher is terrible.
So was that not typical Mariner offense last night?
Yeah.
That guy, I saw your guy Kruger last night with Angie. God, I love him.
He's the best.
Hey, he basically was like, hey, man, this guy has a +6 ERA in AAA and +5 ERA in MLB, and you do what you did last night as the Mariners? I mean, come on. But that's typical of the Mariners. They can do that against a guy that's not very good.
It always happens to them. Always. The guy gave up 19 earned runs in his previous 4 starts. He went into the game with an ERA damn near 7. I mean,
God. And watch tonight. We're going to watch this Cy Young kid, the great Seattle U story. He's going to come in here, and they'll probably get 8 or 9 hits off of him and 4 runs.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. It's exactly what's going to happen. Everybody knows that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to rough up Scooble. And
then you sit there and you think, oh, God, and you know how I feel about the strikeouts. So they lead MLB with 1,165 strikeouts.
Correct.
They struck out 14 times last night.
Mm-hmm.
This guy comes in here leading MLB with 162 strikeouts. So you think they're going to strike out 18 times tonight? Watch, they'll strike out like 8 times when they get their 8 hits, extra base hits. Garver will go crazy. I mean, it'll be everything opposite of what you think should happen.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because it's just like you expect that to have what they did last night. You expect it to, what you said, happen against, Scooble tonight. So, I mean, we're going to hype it up as a great pitching matchup. You're going to crush the under tonight. The under is going to hit easily tonight because it hit yesterday, by the way. We're back on. I mean, we're back on 36, 41, and 2 on the Bet M's.
Yeah, boy, that's a hot streak when you're 36, 41, and 2.
Yeah, you're damn right it is.
You don't even make the betting playoffs when you're 36, 41, and 2.
Come on. Still a good bet.
You talk about me being a bad gambler, and you're actually encouraging listeners to follow along with you and lose money. That's
bad advice.
That's just terrific.
How many people do you think are going to go along with my bet, side of bet?
You're like Troy Wins. I mean, come on.
Stop. You leave Troy alone. Troy's a good guy. This is one of the first times I've seen the total. You know what the total is for tonight? Care to guess?
Yeah, sure. I'll play along.
Yeah,
6.5.
Yeah, close. 5.5.
5.5.
When's the last time you've seen a total in a baseball game? 5.5. I'll be honest. I don't think I've ever seen it. I mean, I'm sure I have, but I can't recall it. But 5.5 is the total tonight.
Who's favored tonight? Do you know?
I
was going to look.
Mariners at plus. Mariners on the money line, 135, minus 135.
Mariners are favored tonight. Yeah. Okay. Hey, how many of those Tiger players have you heard of in that lineup?
Hardly any.
Because I saw a bunch of guys where I was like, I just said to my kids, I go, you ever heard of him? And, sometimes they have, but I didn't know any of those guys.
Yeah, no, hardly.
Except for Baez.
Hardly any, my friend. Now, Baez at the end, but, he's been done for a couple of years, so.
You like that swing he had last night? He must have missed that pitch by 3 feet.
I missed that one. I was in and out watching the game.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. But, yeah, I mean, when you got a lineup filled with no names like that and they still win the game. But, yeah.
It's the frustrating thing about that offense, man. They are just it's sometimes it looks good, the other times it just looks like what it looked like last night. It's just a wave of emotions with these guys. It's up and down, up and down. I mean, I just
How about a Rosarina's at bat in the ninth inning?
yeah. What about it?
We struck out and didn't even swing. I mean,
that's the good and bad of
you're Randy
Randy
and Rosarina. This is a moment where you need to shine or at least put the ball in play. And he had a rough night, 2 double plays.
Yeah, well, I mean, nothing they did at the deadline was going to fix everything, right? Nothing, it wasn't going to fix all of the ill wills of the Mariners offense. Hey, the Seahawks got a new center, Jim Moore. Connor Williams. You fight about Connor Williams. That's how good they feel about their Oluwatimi and Nick Harris. They had to go and convince a guy who had an ACL tear back in December to sign him to a 1-year deal because that's how bad their centers are. And I know how highly rated he was. I love when it all comes out. Well, he was the second highest rated PFF center. I don't even know how PFF determines it. So whatever. I mean, we could just cite that he was the second highest rated PFF center, but none of these people that cite those numbers know exactly what PFF does to compile that and come up with that number. And I love, we're all guilty of this.
Why? Wait a minute. Why are you bad-mouthing that?
Because they know it. If you ask people who cite PFF all the time, for linemen, they don't know how they actually compile the numbers. They don't know the formula of how they've come up with it. They just cite it. Well, PFF says this, so it must be 100% accurate. We'll see. I mean, we'll see if he's good.
But it might give you an indication that the guy's really good.
Okay, but he's also coming off an ACL tear. And I know he passed his physical. I mean, he tore his ACL in December.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's good and healthy, then it has the potential to be a great signing. I mean, they have not had a center on this football team since Max Unger. I mean, my God.
Yeah, I looked at that. I looked at the list of centers they had. Justin Britt, didn't we think he was okay?
He was okay. It was serviceable, but
okay. Yeah. It's kind of funny because Ryan Grubb, I think when they talked to him earlier this week about the center play, he really liked the two guys. And what they were doing. Yeah, they were playing great.
He praised both
playing
of them.
Great. That they're both getting better as a result of the competition, and then clearly they feel the way that you think they feel. That they're not very good and they need an upgrade there. And so they're taking a flyer on Connor Williams. And what is it? It's $6 million.
$6 million.
$3 million guaranteed.
Only 3 of it is guaranteed.
Yeah.
But my thing with PFF is this. I mean, I look at it. I mean, I think it's fun to look at the numbers, but people will use PFF to justify a bunch of things. But then when there's something that they don't like about PFF, they bash it. Like there was a game a couple of years ago, Aaron Rodgers threw for 460 yards and had 4 touchdowns, and PFF downgraded him, said it wasn't a good game. I'm like how? How is that not a good game? Because his touchdowns, he didn't actually because he threw the touchdowns in the flat and the running back ran in and scored, and so they downgraded him for it. It's just okay.
Yeah, I really don't get. I sometimes think about the guys that are grading Connor Williams. And so you watch the all 30 tape or whatever, and then you watch, you focus in on how he's playing for Miami and every single play and how he blocked. And, maybe the guard was supposed to pick up a guy or whatever.
That's the thing is they don't know.
I just can't. I don't know. I hate that shit when people put, these guys who cover the NFL sometimes will, put up a video of a diagram something. And I'm going, screw you, man. I don't want to see that. Let's talk point spreads.
That's what I'm talking about. Exactly right.
Let's talk about home underdogs. Who's good on the road. Give me betting talk.
That's what I want.
This breaking down, I just can't. Give me a gun and let me shoot myself if I'm ever told, hey, we want you to watch the right guard every play and break it down for us.
So speaking of that, do you like the Seahawks -2.5 on Saturday against the Chargers? I kind of like it.
I do, and I have a good reason why.
Why? Because Sam Howell's going to play?
No. Well, yeah, hey, Corbin Smith, he's one of the best at covering the Seahawks for SI.com. Okay. I say that only because
he agrees with you.
I read his report on yesterday's practice, and he said Sam Howell had the best and most consistent practice of training camp to date. He was just firing darts all over the place.
How much was that bet?
D. Eskridge was missing some of them though, but he just was throwing it all over the lot there at the VMAC. Yeah.
How much?
He looked good.
How much was that bet?
But no. The reason you bet on the Seahawks is because you're going to like this. You know, the Baltimore Ravens in preseason over the last 3 or 4 years have had the best preseason record against the spread. They went like 20 games in a row where they covered the spread in preseason games. Hey, Mike McDonald was a coach in Baltimore. He was a defensive coordinator. So he was part of what was going on there in the preseason. Huh. So clearly he focuses on winning these games and covering the spread. So lay the points with the Seahawks because he's bringing that to Seattle, that preseason record against the spread. He's part of what's happening here in Seattle.
And that's the Smoke and More lock of the week. Hey, our Hal Geno bet, what was it? Was it 500?
No, it was 250.
Okay, I'm just marking it down. I just got to make sure.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on with Geno? Is he still?
No, he came back.
Did he come back yesterday?
Yeah, back at practice.
Okay.
Looked good. Wasn't limping. Shocker.
So much for your whatever your theory was.
We'll see. We'll see how so much about my theory. We'll see.
Okay. Your theory being that you think he wants more money.
Yeah, I think he wants more money.
Okay.
I think
why did he come back?
We'll see. Maybe they're working on more money. I think he extended that little break of his a little bit to kind of just show everyone what they're missing out without him on the field.
You think there might be an announcement later this week?
I'm going to say that I wouldn't be shocked before the season starts if something happens. If he gets a little bit extra money, if they figure out a little bit way to maybe give him something next season. Nobody wants to play under a 1-year deal, especially a quarterback, and that's what he would be playing under. They're not going to pay him $38 million next season. There's no way that's going to happen.
God, I hope. If he wants more money, I hope it backfires and Sam Howell just tears it up on Saturday.
All right. Well, we'll see. Probably see a lot of Sam Howell coming up on Saturday. All right, Seahawks favored by 2.5. All right, let's wrap up the daily puck drop before the dogs get run over by the garbage man again. With Hey, What the Puck? It's brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company. Lets you, Jim Moore, avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. I can never say operated. I can't.
Why?
I don't know why I can't say locally owned and operated. But I can't.
Well, once you say locally owned, and it's assumed that it's operated too.
That's probably safe to say. Make them your first call when damage affects your residential or commercial property. Call Trent, call Derek at 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. All right.
I thought I sucked at reading ads.
I do. I mean, I can terrible. Well, it's just that one, locally owned and operated. Locally owned.
I remember they used to tell me, you just got to be relaxed and just, talk like I'm talking to you right now. And I'd always be like, O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. And I was just like,
this on Hey, What the Puck? I just do not like Dan Lanning. And I hate that I don't like Dan Lanning because I know Husky fans don't like Dan Lanning, but he's such a douchebag, this guy.
What do you do?
Okay, so they have created he just wants so much credit for his 2 years at Oregon, and he hasn't accomplished anything. That's what I don't get about Dan Lanning. And it's crazy.
He's only lost 5 times, though, right?
Yeah, but look at his losses. Blown out by Georgia, and he hasn't beaten Washington. I mean, what signature game has Dan Lanning won in 2 years at Oregon? Signature game.
I don't know. He probably beat us, didn't he?
Is that a signature game?
In my mind, yes.
In our minds, sure, it's a signature game. But he hasn't done anything. He's done nothing to warrant this, like, oh my God, it's Oregon, and we're badass Ducks, and you got to respect us. All right, so he's done this thing. They're trying to get all this attention. Okay, like I'm looking back last year. What is his signature win? Okay, beat Utah. Did what's his name even play in that game? I bet you. Okay, he beat Utah last year at Salt Lake City. They didn't even have. Well,
They had their backup
I'm
quarterback.
blanking on who the starters. Okay, so they didn't have him. Who else? What else? Other signature win did they have?
I'm blanking on it too, and that kid's been there 6 years.
Cam Rising, thank you. Okay, his first year gets blown out by Georgia. What other signature win did he have? I'm looking.
I don't know how they do against USC. Did they play USC?
Did he play against USC his first year? No, he beat USC. He didn't beat anybody. He lost to Oregon State, remember, in the Civil War's first year, and they were up big in that game, and all Oregon State did was run on him. He has no – my point is he's had no signature wins in his 2 years at Oregon, okay? So they're doing this like hard knock style show, okay? The Ducks are. And he is branded Oregon because he wants Oregon to be hated by Ohio State and Michigan and all those teams in the Big Ten, right? He wants the attention of being hated by those teams, okay? So he is branded in this video, Oregon, the team out west. He wants Ohio State and Michigan and those two powerhouses to refer to them as the team out west. But he's given themselves the moniker, the nickname. And it's all because, you know the team up north. That's what Ohio State calls Michigan. Woody Hayes. You're looking at me like you've never heard that before. Okay.
I've heard that
So
before.
He's taken the Woody Hayes line, which refers to a rivalry that's gone over 100 years, and calls them the team up north, and he's now referring to himself as the team out west because he wants the attention, because he wants Ohio State. He's so desperate for attention. He wants Ohio State and Michigan to pay attention to him. You can't give yourself your own nickname.
No, you can't. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about Oregon. I mean, I live with a Duck.
Well, ask her.
And so she's rooting for him every time. But I can't. All these defectors, I can't root for any of them this year. I mean, I'm gonna root against Utah and Colorado, everybody in the Big 12 too. I mean, they kicked us to the curb. I'm going to root against every single one of them.
We had Canzano on yesterday on the Tuesday show, and we talked a lot about the expectation for him, because I think there is a lot of pressure for Dan Lanning, even though he's 22-5 going into his third year as the head football coach of the Oregon Ducks, and I think Canzano agreed a little bit with that sentiment.
Yeah, he's 22-5, so not really nice start, but. You look at the 5 losses. Gets blown out by Georgia 49-3 in the very first game he coached. It was just a real eye-opening moment. You don't have the talent to be on this level, was the message. He loses to Washington. He loses to Oregon State. That's season 1. Season 2, obviously the 2 losses to Washington follow. He's got 5 losses. You look at this season, and we're looking at Ohio State coming to Autzen Stadium and what will be the biggest game ever played there. You're going to Michigan. You're going to Wisconsin. And then, you got to play Washington at the end of the year. I think there's an incredible amount of pressure, Puck, for this staff to take the talent that Phil Knight has enabled them to get with the resources he's poured into the program, take that talent and let it blossom. And if they don't, 10-2 is not going to be good enough. 9-3 is not going to be good enough.
I just think they'll find another way to disappoint this year. I do. Their schedule is brutal, Jim. Brutal.
Well, yeah, I can see that, but I think he'll get a break even if they don't meet expectations based on first year in the Big Ten, the travel, all the different things that went with it. I think he'll get a pass. I don't think he's going to be on the hot seat, and at the end of the year they're going to get rid of him unless they go like 5-7.
I don't think there's any hot seat. I just think that he is yet to prove himself as a good head coach, despite being 22-5. Just hasn't. I mean, he walked into a situation. He was given the keys to a Ferrari. It was all there for him. It doesn't matter what they've done in recruiting and all that. You got to go out and win games. I mean, this stretch of games that he has, he gets Michigan State at home. Of course, that's Jonathan Smith. So he's coming back. Smith is a hell of a football coach. That's going to be a tough game. The next week, they got the Buckeyes at home. I mean, then he's got to go at Purdue. He gets Illinois. And then 2 weeks later, he's at Michigan. then back-to-back at Wisconsin, which is brutal to play, and then he gets Washington at home, who he has yet to beat. So they are he and that program get so overhyped. And I just think that and him coming out and shooting this video, and I could have played the video, but there's like a minute trailer of it. But I just, anytime someone gives themselves their own nickname, it's just so douchey. Someone else has got to do it for you. And for him to start branding them as the team out west, F you. God, the dork.
Yeah, if I'm a Husky fan, I'm thinking, well, I think we're the team out west. If anybody's the team out west, it should be us because we handed it to you.
Well, if there's any team
last
that's
year.
the team out west, it's USC.
Yeah, which they play in L.A., right? I'm glad the UCLA coach reminded all of us about that. Who the hell is that?
Sean Foster.
God, I'm betting against the Bruins just
he
based on that
press conference. He did have a great
conference.
sense of humor. I don't know if you saw this. Like that week after practice, the week of practice after that, he came to practice with a T-shirt on that said, "We're the team out west," or no, we're from LA. It was pretty funny. Nice little dig at himself. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Well, I don't really give a damn about the Ducks, honestly. I mean, and whether Dan Lanning is a good coach or bad coach. Yeah, I secretly, privately, quietly root against them when they play, unless I bet on them. Don't you? I mean,
I'm rooting
are
against
you gonna
all
root
of
for
them.
any of the
yes. God, yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
I want all of them to go winless. And I know that's not possible because they play each other, but if they all went winless this year,
great.
Yeah.
I want them all to fall
terrific.
apart. All right. Have fun on your big day. What do you got planned for today? Playing a little golf? What else you got?
Nothing really. Probably go to the gym. Stevie's leaving. He's coming back to Seattle and then going to Pullman, and then Mikey's leaving on Saturday. So I got to admit, I'm a little sentimental about the kids being here all summer and then leaving.
As you should.
Yeah.
It's great to have your boys back home. All right. Well, you take it easy. Have a nice, relaxing day. That was Hey, What the Puck, which is, of course, brought to you by Restoration One. Did you know it's locally owned and operated? There you go. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. Go visit Trent and Derek if you have any damages that affect your residential or commercial property. That is the Daily Puck Drop here on Wednesday, August 7th. Coming up later, the Human Pony Cake, Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times. That episode will drop at 1 o'clock today. The Daily Puck Drop every single day at 10 a.m. on all the platforms, YouTube, so you can watch our beautiful faces, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. And, of course, all the content up there at pucksports.com from the Limbach Lumber Studios. We'll talk to you at 1 o'clock with Ryan Divish. Until then, Jim, we'll see you on Friday's edition of the Daily Puck Drop, okay?
All right.
Until then,
Puck.
as always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!